Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Rise, and today I'm going to be bringing you my elemental damage dual blade builds. Now this is a follow-up to the dual blades guide because I do believe that the best way to play dual blades is with elemental damage, so I went ahead and I cooked up 5 different dual blades builds, one for each of the elements, and I actually took quite a lot of feedback from you guys from the elemental damage special video that I did this last Sunday, where you guys gave me a lot of feedback in regards to some of my skill choices and whatnot, and also because of the fact that I tried applying those builds that were designed for the sword and shield to my dual blades, and when I did that I was like, oh wow, actually dual blades eat through sharpness way faster than sword and shield, so I definitely need to do some sharpness management. And at that point I was also like, well, if we're gonna do sharpness management, we might as well take these weapons all the way up to white sharpness, and everything kind of like changed. So I've been working on these today to bring to you guys. So if you guys watch the dual blades guide and you're interested in dual blades, these are some good templates that you can kind of like adapt to your own play styles and hopefully have some fun with dual blades elemental damage. Now, having said that, I didn't craft every single dual blade for these builds because, in case you guys don't know, dual blades and longsword are probably my least used melee weapons because I'm just not a huge fan of them. But I still wanted to, you know, do the theory behind the blades and behind the builds and come up with the builds themselves. So I used placeholder weapons, but I will be taking, you know, when I talk about the weapons, I'll show you what they look like if you equip these different sets to them. So let's begin, and we're going to be starting with the fire version of this build. So for this we're going to be going with Wyvern Lovers. You guys know that I'm very biased towards Rathalos. I really like Rathalos weapons, but on top of it, this weapon comes with a beefy 200 raw damage and 28 fire damage with neutral affinity, which is pretty damn good if you ask me. We're going to push that sharpness all the way into white. It is going to consume quite a bit of handicraft, as you guys will see, but still, I think it's worth it. And then on top of that, we're looking at the rampage slots here, and we got element exploit, because obviously if we're going to be going for elemental damage, like I always say, you don't want to completely sacrifice the raw damage, but at the same time, if you can increase that damage just a little bit more, I think it's well worth it to put in a little bit more damage. So there you go, that's our weapon choice. When it comes to the armor, we're going to be using Kushala's Glare on the head, and we're going to be slotting it in with a grinder decoration. We're going to be using the Uruktor torso, slotting it in with a sharp decoration. Going to be using the Sinister Gauntlets S and slotting it in with a sharp decoration as well. Uruktor coil with another sharp decoration. We're going to be going protective polish all the way with a grinder deco on top of it because we also want to get that speed sharpening. Going to be going Kadachi Greaves with a tenderizer jewel and a grinder jewel. And then when it comes to the talisman, we're going to be putting pretty much any talisman that you have that has 2 tier 2 slots is enough, or any talisman that you have that has 2 weakness exploit is enough. In my case, my talisman also comes with 2 evade window, which is very useful in my opinion for dual blades because it gives you a couple of more invincibility frames on those dodges. And obviously we're going to be slotting in the 2 decos with tenderizer jewels to get maximum weakness exploit. When you put the build together, you are looking at fire attack level 5, handicraft level 4, weakness exploit level 3, protective polish level 3, speed sharpening level 3, critical eye level 2, normal wrap it up is a throwaway skill. Evade window comes from my charm, so you might not be able to get that. You might be able to get other bonus skills from your charm selection. And then we also have 1 point constitution, that's kind of like bonus throwaway. Wide range also comes from the charm, and hellfire, which is another bonus throwaway. This would be the fire variant of the build. And I've tested this on Gosarag and we absolutely demolished it. And I'm not even good at playing dual blades. I want to make sure that you guys understand that. I'm not very good at playing dual blades. So if the gameplay doesn't look particularly awesome, that's because I'm not good at playing this weapon. But I do think that the build itself is pretty damn solid. But, you know, all of you dual blades mains out there can surely tell me if you feel like, oh, you could probably use some Marathon Runner in there to maximize demon mode timing or something. But I don't feel like we really need that. When it comes to the pedal ace, the pedal ace is actually the same for every single build. I didn't really bring up the pedal ace, but we are using the Underworld pedal ace because that is the one that gets you the most stamina. So that's where I'm getting like my stamina from. If you actually go and collect the spare birds, which I don't even tend to do, but if you don't feel like you need any more stamina, you can also keep up with the demon pedal ace. It's not really a big deal which pedal ace you go for, but you know, the one that I'm going for in all of these builds is the Underworld pedal ace. Now, when it comes to the dual blades, we're going to be using the Morning Dawn 2, which is Mizutsune's dual blades, coming in with 170 raw damage, which is significantly less than the fire version, but still, I like Mizutsune's weapon because they can reach white sharpness. In this case, we're actually going a little bit above what we need with handicraft. That's because I had like a level tier 3 slot left when I was done with the build, and I was like, I don't really know what to put in here. You can actually put in critical boost if you want to, which we'll talk about when we get to the decos, but I ended up just slotting in an additional handicraft and being like, well, it's a little bit more comfy for when protective polish runs out. The water element is not great, and I know that probably a lot of you guys will be like, well, you could use Almudron, but Almudron can't reach white sharpness. It also doesn't come with 10% bonus affinity, so that's why I ended up going with Mizutsune's. There are other water weapons in here, but after looking through all of them, I was like, I like Mizutsune's weapon, and they also look pretty damn good in my opinion, so I was like, it's a no-brainer. So when it comes to the Rampage skills, you really can't go wrong here. Like, pick whichever one you prefer, to be honest. I'd probably go for the water boost, get 6% more, get 6 more points in water damage, but the affinity boost is also good. You get 6% more affinity, and the attack boost is also good. So it's like, there really isn't a way to go wrong here. Just pick whatever you prefer. If you don't want to be that dependent on elemental damage, you can take the attack boost or the affinity boost. If you want to double down on the elemental damage, then go for the water boost. Personally, I'd probably go for the water boost because it is pretty low with just 15, so a little bit more water damage in our elemental build would not go too bad. So when it comes to the armor and decorations, for starters, I want you to ignore the weapon. It says Mizumuri. This is Mizutsune's gun lance, but basically it's got the same slot profile as Mizutsune's dual blades, so that's why it's there. It's kind of like to symbolize the Mizutsune dual blades, but I would put in a grinder decoration on there. Then we have the Kushala glare on the headpiece. Put in another grinder decoration in there. Then we have the Droth Mail S, put in a sharp decoration and a grinder decoration. Have the Sinister Gauntlets S, put in another sharp decoration in there. We have the Chrome Metal Coil. We have Handicraft Deco, Sharp Deco, and a Stream Deco. Then we have the Droth Greaves with Tenderizer Jewel 2. And then we have the same charm that we had on the previous builds. I'm not going to be explaining this every single time. You guys know, get yourself a charm with 2 tier 2 slots and put Tenderizer on it, or get a charm with Tenderizer, whatever. In our case, we also get to evade window from it. And then in here on the Chrome Metal Coil, I would just like to reinforce, this is the handicraft that you don't need. So this is like bonus, gives you a little bit more comfiness for when protective polish runs out. If you want to, you can put like a critical boost in here and get a little bit more damage out of it, but that's going to be up to personal preference. When you put this whole thing together, you're looking at water attack level 5, handicraft level 5, which doesn't need to be level 5, can be level 4, will work just as fine. Weakness exploit level 3, protective polish level 3, speed sharpening level 3, normal, wrap it up. Like I said, Kushala glare, that's not really for us. You got 2 points in evade window for my charm, as well as the wide range and the high Hellfire Cloak, which is a leftover skill. This is the water version of the build, and like I said, you can exchange the handicraft point for critical boost if you so desire. Now, for the ice version of this build, we're going to be going for the Mountain Blazariots, which are Barioth's dual blades, coming in at 180 raw damage. We're going to be going for that Sliver of White Sharpness, 20 ice damage, and 20% affinity, as well as 2 tier 1 slots, which is pretty damn good. Then when you get to the Rampage slots right there, for me, for the best bang for your buck, I would go for the Attack Boost 4. If you want to go for any of the other things, feel free to, but I wouldn't go for Affinity Boost 2 over Attack Boost 4, because we get plenty of affinity and this build should be fine. And Ice Blight exploit just does not seem as interesting to me, because you have to actually trigger the Ice Blight exploit. But this is the weapon that we go for. Now, in terms of slots and armor, once again, ignore the name of the weapon that is there. That is Barioth's gun lance, because it's got the same slot profile. So we're going to be putting in 2 grinder decorations. Then we have the Lagombi helm, and we're going to be putting in a handicraft jewel. We have the Vike mail, going to be putting in another handicraft jewel, as well as a sharp jewel and the grinder jewel. On the Lagombi Vambrace is a sharp jewel and the frost jewel. On the Chrome Metal Coil, we have Tenderizer Jewel 2, sharp jewel, and frost jewel. Damascus Greaves with a wind resistance jewel. You can put whatever you want in there. I just put that one kind of like as a placeholder. I don't even know what I would have put in there. Most probably would put in free meal, but I haven't really crafted a single free meal deco, so I was like, I'll just put wind resistance in here. So this one's not important. Put whatever you want on there. And then on the charm, once again, we have the 2 tenderizer decos. The only thing that matters that you get out of a charm is 2 weakness exploit. In this particular build, anything else that comes with it is a bonus. When you look at the finalized build, you got Ice Attack level 5, Handicraft level 4, Critical Eye level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Protective Polish level 3, Speed Sharpening level 3, and 2 points of Evade Window from a charm, as well as Windproof and Wide Range. That is the Ice version. Now, when it comes to the Thunder version of this build, we're going to be going for the Despot's Blitz. That is Zinogre's dual blades, coming in with a whopping 200 raw damage. We're going to get that sliver of white sharpness as per usual. We got 25 thunder damage, no affinity, but we do have a tier 2 slot. When you look at the Rampage skills, for me, I would either go for Thunder Boost, depending on what I'm fighting, or Anti-Aquatic Species. So basically, if you are fighting some kind of aquatic monster, I would definitely go for Anti-Aquatic Species. If you're fighting anything else, I would go for Thunder Boost too. So potentially either swap them in between fights if you really want to min-max it to that level, or just craft 2 versions of the weapon, although that's probably going to cost you quite a bit because those Jaspers don't necessarily come easy unless you're lucky. But, you know, those are kind of like your choices. I would not really go for Attack Boost 2 in this particular case, but it's not necessarily a bad option. So, to be honest, you really can't go wrong with this weapon either. But I would potentially craft 2 versions of the weapon, one for Thunder Boost, one for Anti-Aquatic Species, and maybe even make different sets for them if you want to min-max to that level. But that's going to be up to each and every one of you. Now, when it comes to armor, once again, ignore the weapon. This time around, I needed to use Nargacuga's Gunlance to simulate the deco slots for the Zinogre dual blades, because Zinogre Gunlance actually has different slots than the dual blades, you know, but whatever. On the weapon, we will put a Sharp Jewel 2. On the Kushala Glare, we'll put a Grinder Jewel. On the Vike Mail, a Handicraft Jewel, a Sharp Jewel, and a Grinder Jewel. On the Kazu Vambrace is a Grinder Jewel and Bolt Jewel. Chrome Metal Coil, Expert, Sharp, and Bolt. Kadachi, Greaves, Tenderizer, and Bolt. And on the charm, as per usual, 2 Tenderizer decos. When we put the whole build together, we got Thunder Attack level 5, Critical Eye level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Handicraft level 3, Protective Polish level 3, Speed Sharpening level 3, Normal Wrap It Up still comes from the Kushala Glare, and Evade Window 2 from my charm. And we have a bunch of throwaway skills: Constitution, Recovery, Speed, Wide Range, and Wall Runner. These are not particularly important. These are the ones that actually matter, and this is the Thunder version of the build. And finally, for the Dragon version of this build, we're going to be using the Fortis Grand, which is from the Guild Tree 2, coming in with 180 raw damage, white sharpness, that little sliver of white sharpness, and 24 Dragon, as well as 15% affinity, but no slots. When you look at the Rampage skills, we have the option of Attack Boost 4, Master Rider, Dragon Exploit. Personally, I'd probably go for Dragon Exploit in most situations. However, if you're fighting something that is not a Wyvern, like a Beast or something that is weak to Dragon, I didn't really look at the weakness chart before I started this video. I probably should have, but if you're fighting one of those, the attack boost is obviously going to be better. But Dragon Exploit is not the same thing as Element Exploit. This basically means that you will deal additional damage to every Wyvern type creature. Every Wyvern type creature. At least that's what the community has been saying from what I've been following, that there's some kind of a mistranslation of this particular skill or something along those lines. So long as you're fighting something that is weak to Dragon and not a Wyvern, Attack Boost 4 would be better. But in any other situation, I'm pretty sure that Dragon Exploit will net you better results. So that is my Rampage skill choice. That is the weapon. Let's look at the armor. Once again, ignore the weapon. We have the Basil standing in because it is one of the gun lances that has no slots, very much like our choice of Dragon dual blades. Then on the helm, we have the Kaiser Crown with a Grinder Deco. For the chest, we have the Vike Mail with Handicraft Deco and Sharp Deco and Grinder. When the hands, we have the Juratotus Vambraces again with the same configuration, Handicraft, Sharp, and Grinder. On the belt, we have the Elucant Elytra. I believe that this is different for the females. I don't know exactly what the name is, but it's basically one of the belts that gives you 3 dragon damage. Should be fairly easy to find, but it's just one of those things. I don't know what the female armor for this looks like. And then in there, we're going to be putting another Dragon Deco. On the feet, we have Urzuros Greaves with Sharp, Tenderizer, and Dragon. And finally, the Talisman is the same one, 2 Tenderizer Decos and whatever else you can get on there. And then when you put all that together, you're looking at Dragon Attack level 5, Critical Eye level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Protective Polish level 3, Speed Sharpening level 3, Handicraft level 2, Evade Window level 2, as well as Critical Boost level 1, and a throwaway thing in the form of Wide Range right there. So that is the Dragon version of this build, and with that, you have one build for each of the elements. Now go out there and dish out some elemental damage with your dual blades. If you need some tips on dual blades, remember I did put up the guide for dual blades, and hopefully this complements that guide nicely. Once again, I appreciate all of your feedback in the comment section below, and I really appreciate everyone that participated in the discussion for the elemental damage builds special, because there are unfortunately quite a few skills when it comes to elemental damage that just fall very, very short, such as critical element. Good God. Capcom, can we please have better elemental damage as opposed to just always being about raw? Anyways, that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, hit the dislike button. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.